Hey folks, it's Drew and welcome back to Learn How to See Better. And right now, what we're doing is taking a little bit of time and taking a couple of episodes to spend on vision. Specifically, vision and organizing a vision for the purposes of life. For the purposes of your life, as crazy as it sounds, when you think about great visions, grandiose visions, we tend to think about accolades, achievements, accomplishments, but not really the design of our life, and what we really want out of it and how that pertains to our focus. Because if you think about it, if you're not focused on the right things, if you're not focused on the things that you really want, how do you expect to achieve them? If you even took it a step further, where your attention goes, your intention goes, right? You don't want to major in minor things because that can be something that really detracts from your overall quality of life. And so for today, when we're talking about core focus and, what my core focus has come to be, I think it's only relevant to give you a little bit of the backdrop so you can understand, where's this all coming from? What's this driven by? Because, what I found overall is that it's not all that common for people to even have a vision laid out for their business, and let alone for their own life. When you actually think about vision and the full scope of what that means, and not just the stuff you have, but the quality of your life and how you're living. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? Right? So in my scenario, again, going back into a little bit of the realm of what I'm kind of here and step into the table with is a simple, regular type of background, right? Some people would say, yeah, you're no one spectacular. You had a background just like mine, right? I enjoyed some success in corporate America, and I found that I was unhappy. And the thing that was strange about that was I was, a good little obedient kid, and I did what I was told. I went to school, got good grades, and was able to get a good job, right? And like everyone else that, wants to do well and wants to make their parents proud, I wanted to be successful, right? I wanted to go out and show my parents, hey, I can go and achieve, I can go and graduate, make you proud. And furthermore, I was excited to be able to go and do those things. Went to a good school, got a solid degree, ended up working for a big company just out of school, and I wanted to go out and climb that ladder. It's as though I were programmed, right, to follow that path. It's what I was taught. And, part of that hidden reward when you do the right thing, you can feel and find some security, subconsciously, like, yeah, this is a-okay. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and it really does feel good. And it did feel like I was living a life by design, because at the onset, when I was trying to decide what I wanted to be when I grow up, heck, I just wanted to be rich. I didn't have a whole lot that I had really given a lot of thought to as, 17-year-old kid trying to pick a college major. So when I felt that I had found a path that I could run on, I'd felt some security thinking that I had gone the right direction. You've become successful. You've done all the stuff that the powers that be tell you to do. So here you are. But one of the things I found that wasn't not expected was that when I was having some of that corporate success and I started my family, that there would be a shift in my priorities, a shift in what was most important to me, which was a little bit unexpected because I still wanted to be successful. I still wanted to go ahead and climb the corporate ladder. I hadn't been too corrupted yet, from the standpoint of seeing the world through eyes where I would want to do something completely different, anytime soon. So for me, the desire was really starting to shift more over to I want to live happily ever after. I want a solid family. I look up to my parents. They're still happily married, 40 plus years, 45 years, over 45 years, right? So, some of those same benefits that I enjoyed, as a child, I wanted to have some of those same benefits as an adult. And furthermore, even beyond that, I wanted to have a greater impact on the world and to even possibly leave a legacy one day. And the thing about it was, it just felt like to be able to do things that mattered more to me, I needed more freedom. I wanted more freedom. Security was great and I wanted that, but I wanted freedom more. And it was as though I was just, moving the right direction, but almost felt like I was kind of moving backwards. You know what I mean? How would you equate this, right? You're doing the things you're supposed to be doing. You're finding that you're having more success. You're getting better at what you're doing. More success at the job typically means you're making more money, better promotions. And now, you're traveling more and you're spending more time on the road. And next thing you know, there's more sacrifice and more stress and more money, but it's kind of like golden handcuffs a little bit. And then I even remember when I exited this job, the first job I took out of college, and moved on to what seemed like a better opportunity. I finally getting paid a lot more competitively, closer to what I felt I was worth. And I said, okay, yeah, now we're singing a new song. But the reality of it all was that kind of like a new toilet, same old, right? And unfortunately, I realized that I was stuck in that whole trap of trading hours for dollars. So even with the new gig, if I wanted to keep up, this A-OK pay, I'd have to be gone all day. And that's when I realized, I'm handcuffed here. I'm stuck. Checkmate, right? And that's when it hit me. It's like, you know what? You're over here. You're wanting security from having followed this path that you took, that you did all the right things. So you want the peace of mind that you're going to get, whether it's whether it's one of those things where you're thinking about you're going to be well taken care of after 30, 40 years of service, as people were actually taken care of in the yesteryear, but that old pension days are done, right? Just recognizing the fact that security and freedom are actually opposites. You can't want all this job security and then want all this freedom, right? You get your maximum, freedom, when you're just a bird living off nature, right? But there's no security there. You don't really know where your next meal's coming from. And to be quite frank, on the other side of the coin, in the maximum security penitentiary, you got all the security in the world. You know where every meal's coming from, but you got no freedom. And so that's when I said, my goodness, I'm sitting here thinking of these things as too closely aligned benefits, rewards. I want security and I want freedom. Well, they're opposites. Wake up and recognize that. And to pursue one of these, you got to be willing to let go of the other. And so if the only way to truly live the life you want is you got to design it and determine which one of those elements is the most important. And for me, I had enjoyed the security, but I recognized at this point that what I really wanted and what I really saw was freedom. And so, I had this Maxwell House moment. I woke up, I smelled the coffee, I had this big aha, and you know what? I was I was just 10 toes down, ready to go, full speed ahead, and I actually elected to exit stage left, leave corporate America and the cushy 6-figure job, fired the boss, and said, I'm going to go for it, to quote unquote strike out on my own, right? Because it mattered enough to me, and I was not going to put my career over my family. And I wasn't going to, sell myself short in that way, because you know how that old saying goes, you never get to your deathbed wishing you spent more time at the office. And so I had already made the commitment that, family first. I would not make the mistake that I had seen others who thought, loyalty to a company over the wife and kids was a better decision to make. But, if that was best for them, okay, different strokes for different folks. But I had a plan. I said, you know what, I'm going to go all in, with the real estate investing business that that we had been learning and getting education about. And you know what? As great as a plan it was, no sooner than you get out there a little bit and you realize, whoa, it's a little bit scary out here. And all of a sudden, I felt a lot of fear. And it came from just the uncertainty. I mean, it's been 15 years of getting, a paycheck every 2 weeks, like clockwork. So all of a sudden it's like, yeah, the income's a little bit more sporadic. Some nice chunks come in, but it's not clockwork, right? So, there's the conflict there. The nerves racking, got a family now, how are you going to do this thing? Is it the responsible thing to do? Thoughts of, is this what I should be doing? Is this selfish of me as a dad wanting to pursue this dream with my wife when we've got, a family to feed, and you don't want to rock the boat. You should just stay with that good paying job, right? So the conflict of the noise that you would sometimes hear, and people questioning, what the hell are you doing, right? And I even knew in my quiet time, like, gosh, I really got no structure here. It's kind of like I jumped off the cliff and saying, hey, I'll build a plane on the way down and figure it out. But you know what? Sometimes you got to jump. Sometimes you got to take that shot and give it your all and go for it. And so what that I left all my highly touted skills behind of technology, and I left my Rolodex behind with all these, cool title, high level ranking people, and I left my own solid reputation behind in corporate America, and that rubbed me the wrong way, because it's very easy for us to attach our identities to our occupation, and that can be one of the biggest fallacies someone ever makes, to try and tie what they do for a living to who they are as a person. You are not a job, okay? You are not what you do, and we should never be bound or defined by that, right? You might provide waste management services. It's very noble that that's what your occupation is, but if you think that you're a lowly trash man and put that defining label on yourself, that can be a very unfortunate and defeating thing. Heck, I used to, I bagged groceries for a living for my first job when I was like, 16, 15, something like that, whatever it was. But I didn't look at it like that. I was, I was guest services, right? Concierge. So, the point being, I had all these conflicts that I dealt with, making the decision to leave corporate America and become an entrepreneur and try and start from scratch and learn new skills, and everything from the personal doubts that you can sometimes face when you recognize you're just out here on this lonely journey, and what am I doing? Did I do the right thing? Is this irresponsible? Should I have, should I go back? Should I re-question things or revisit? I could probably do another couple of years standing on my head. Is this really the right thing? But I was able to squash all that head trash, and the focus being that you've got to design your life. So you got to stick with your game plan. You've got to put something together that makes sense, that is worth the effort. Because if the promise isn't there, we're not going to pay the price, right? So it's the price and the promise. And it's crazy to even think that we're coming up on 3 years. It's been 3 years since I made that decision to exit corporate America and fire the boss and make a positive change in my life. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people probably weren't feeling too sad for me, right? We're all just trying to climb the ladder. But when you find yourself climbing the ladder and leaning against the wrong building, that's when you know something's not right and you've got to make a change. And so I was able to take that stand, make a decision to own my own lifestyle, make sure I'm enjoying a quality of life that I create, and live life on my terms, live life on the terms that we've set that matter most to us. And that was a huge achievement for me. But the crazy part that blows my mind is more significant than that is the way that I've gone through this sort of internal transformation. And I kid you not, just this long, continued, steady focus. It's like it's brought me an inner strength I couldn't just take all the skills that I had that I abandoned and stay skillless. So I had to go build new skills, and I took existing skills and compounded on those and became more skilled. And I proved to myself that I can go out and do what I want to. And it proves to me what can be done to someone who's committed to making a major life choice and not being afraid to act in spite of fear. Why? Because action cures fear. I truly believe that anyone can start living the life of their dreams. You just have to take the first step right now. I mean, I've been able to enjoy a healthier mindset. I fuel my body in different ways. I'm enjoying better health overall, better relationships with the people that matter most to me in my life. Happier wife because she sees that I'm not, stressed out of my gourd from, life of yesteryear, and just a better life overall. And it just even feels good being able to share this little slice of my life experience with all of you, because it goes to show that if you have the proper core focus, that you really can move in the direction that you want to, regardless of what that direction is, and keeping the right focus on it over time, you'll show that you can actually, prove that thing you set out to do. I'm living a life by design right now. My purpose, my cause, our passion, we show ordinary people, just like you and me, how to live extraordinary lives by actively living a purpose-driven life and teaching others how to do the same. So, I mean, it's really all about, life design, life hacking. That's kind of our thing, what we focus on. And ever since we've been able to, reach that quote unquote accolade, right? I guess, some people say it's a coveted thing to be able to, leave behind the ties to corporate America and go out and do it on your own as a husband and wife team, and raise a family and have, love and positive relationships and all that good stuff. But it's tied back to our personal philosophy. Once I had the epiphany that you can't sometimes combine some of these things. Oil and water just don't mix. That's how it goes. And I didn't set up the setup, so I just shut up and accept the setup and then make sure I set myself up for success. And, that's why it's as simple as developing a core philosophy that we're going to live life on our terms, and we're going to live the life of our dreams right now. And there's ways that you can go out and hack your life right now and start finding little tips and tricks and hints and hacks that can provide enhancement, because we do live in a very fast-paced world, a fast-paced world that's full of information, full of demands and hands on our time and our attention. And it's one of the things that can really take the energy out of us and take us off course and lead us to feeling overwhelmed because we're just too dang distracted. We're going too many places at once and can't even really get out of gear. We've got to get focused to be able to live a life by design. And so this is why I wanted to share part of my story with all of you this evening, and let you know that one of the secret ingredients is having that right focus. So, you start to look at how you stack some of these things, how if you just have, you're clear on your core values and have those established, you're only going to let the right people into your world. And because, the old saying goes, the difference between your life now and 5 years from now is the people you meet and the books you read, right? So it's the folks you hang out with, the company that you keep. That is a major determinant. And so once you have those values established and you've looked deep within to know who you are at your own core, that's when you can start to set that focus. Okay, what resonates in me at the strongest frequency? That's what I'm going to focus on and apply energy to. And if it's the right value that blends with blends right into my DNA, then I'm going to be well positioned to make an impact and move the needle. And in our case, this core focus on life by design, that's been the secret to some of the success that we've enjoyed. And I truly believe that others can do some of the same It's just about the outlook, the mindset of what's actually going to be possible, and having a core focus that you stick with long enough to give it a chance to actually begin to serve you. I mean, you don't want to just plant a seed in the ground and 3 weeks later you're digging the thing up like, where's my redwood tree? Mother Nature moves at the pace of nature, right? Life responds to deserve, not to need, okay? So as all of you are going out there and trying to wrap your head around this and say, my goodness, designing my life, what? Organizing all this, think about what some of the core things that you think about all the time are. What do you stay focused on? What means the most to you? Use these as clues to answer some of those deeper questions and to tie these things all together. Don't forget, you are an artist. You are a seamstress, weaving the tapestry of the fabric of your life. You got to take some time to put that effort into it. And concentrated, extended focus will be one of those secret ingredients that I want to leave you with. Trust me on this. I'm a living example of it, and I will continue to find ways to show and demonstrate it and teach it and share it as I have new evidence to present of how this belief has continued to pop up in the real world. So there you have it. As we enhance these visions and organize these visions of our life, I'll continue to drop these nuggets in to help you take this information and apply it to a framework that you can use for optimizing your own life structure and start to biohack and life hack in your own world and see some of the fruits of your labor. I can't wait. Run this one back. Listen to it again if you feel the need, if you might have missed some details, but pay attention. I'm doing what I'm doing for a reason, leaving some very key critical clues, and if you pay attention, you will get them all and be able to leverage them for your maximum benefit. So until next time, everybody, thanks again for joining. As always, be sure to share this out, subscribe, and tack the like button. However you do it, just tune in next time. See you again soon. Well, all right. That was some great content, wasn't it? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you liked it. This is your host, Drew Davis, and I want to thank you for listening to the Learn How to See Better podcast today. And don't forget to subscribe and tune in for future episodes, and be sure to share with a friend if you are enjoying this content. Thanks, and see you next time.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.